So there's a lot of videos on YouTube, and I've made these myself talking about back when I was a 21-year-old piece of shit with no women in my life.
I mean, man, I didn't even lose my virginity until 1 year later when I was 21.
No money in the bank, just lost, lonely, and confused. And that for sure was an important part of my journey. But today, I want to talk to 25-year-old David, because at that point, I'd already begun the path of self-improvement. I'd been going to the gym for 2 or 3 years consistently. I wasn't jacked yet, but I was starting to see some gains. You know, I'd had my first girlfriend who broke up with me, and I was able to now get a couple dates per month if I wanted. I had started to put myself out there and actually make content. I wasn't getting any views yet, and that's who this video is for. This is for my guys who are on the way up. You've been taking action. You just haven't experienced that breakthrough yet. Number one, the bad habits will not kill you. At least not completely. So last night I was doing my call with the Beast Nation guys, and one of them mentioned he was struggling to stay consistent. And whenever he felt like he had momentum, he would screw up and watch porn. And then after that, he felt like a loser and the progress would never add up. And for me, it was the same. I was so focused on self-improvement and doing the good habits and not doing the bad habits. And whenever I would screw up also and, jerk off, or sometimes I'd see a cute girl who was by herself, at the cafe or the grocery store or the gym, and the opportunity was there, but I wouldn't talk to her. And then I'd go home and it would be like I could kill myself, man. I'd be so mad at myself. I hated myself after that. I felt like a loser. I'm sure you know that feeling. When you slip up on a bad habit, how does it feel like? It feels like, man, this is pointless. I'm literally never gonna change. So listen up and hear this right now. You guys have seen me change my life. Get to the point where now I have multiple 7-figure businesses. I'm married to my dream girl. We're building houses across the world, man. I did not get here never slipping up on my bad habits, right? Like, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Over the past few years, it's not like I've never watched porn. There'll be a week where I'm struggling and, I'm away from Julia for a few days, and of course I slip up and do a little something that I shouldn't do, bro. Like, that is life, man. And anyone who tells you differently, that they're perfect and they never slip up, they're just bullshitting you. At the end of the day, life comes down to a balance between the good and the bad. And if the good is outweighing the bad, then guess what? You're still going to make progress. You can wake up one day, go to the gym, grind on your side hustle, sign a new client, be killing it, and then that night you can go back and watch porn, and it's not like the progress is magically erased. Of course, it's gonna be better to stay away from the bad habits. I talk about that all the time. Be real with yourself and forgive yourself, and keep investing into the good habits, even if from time to time you slip up on the bad. Number two, the small wins are really the big wins. So if I look back at the biggest wins in my life, I'd say, hitting 1 million subscribers on YouTube, building that first house back in Houston, Texas. The first year I made over 7 figures in a single year. Getting that Tesla Model X where the doors go up like falcon wings, man. And I know a lot of y'all are probably nodding along like, yeah, man, I want to do those same things too. And maybe you've already accomplished some of those same things, which is amazing, man. You should be proud of yourself. But looking back, each of these big wins was essentially a dopamine hit. Like, fuck yeah, we got 1 million subscribers, bro. But then a few days later, it passes, and that's the new normal. It's like, all right, where do we go from here? You made $1 million in 2012. You're not gonna sit around for the next 50 years being like, yeah, back in 2012, I made $1 million. I'm still on top of the world. That's not how it works. And that's why I strategically choose to celebrate my small wins even more than the big wins. Every time I make a new YouTube video, which has been 2 per week for the last 8 years, I'm gonna sit back afterwards after I've edited, watch it, and be like, oh yeah, man, this shit is dope. And that's what kept me going back in the day when I had no comments, no views. I was still getting that dopamine hit and feeling proud of myself just from sitting there and watching the video back. Every time I drop a new video, I'm gonna sit there and read every single comment, and each comment that I read, that's another win that I'm celebrating. Every time you step foot in the gym, hopefully you're using the Beastly app and you realize, oh my God, I did 1 more repetition than last week, or I lifted 5 more pounds than last week. That is a big win, man. You gotta pound that chest, walk out with your head high. Maybe you approach a girl who's super hot, and maybe she rejects you, but maybe you actually felt confident talking to her during the interaction. You can't be mad that you didn't get the number, that you weren't able to close the deal. Be proud. Like, man, 6 months ago, I couldn't have talked to a girl like that. That's what makes me unstoppable. Every small win, it's like I just filled a little bit of extra gas in my gas tank. And living like this, it's easy. Motivation's not a problem. Number 3, the right woman is a game changer. Time out for a sip of pre-workout. Oh yeah, it's that blue raspberry, man. So back when I was 25, I'd already learned the lesson that the wrong girl can be a game changer for bad reasons, right? Like the wrong girl can be an energy vampire. My second girlfriend, I told y'all about her before. It was this intensely passionate relationship that was also toxic. And whenever I wasn't around her, I was always, worrying what's the next fire that I'm gonna have to put out. I was always anxious. I had to prioritize her mental health because she wasn't in that good of a place emotionally. I had to prioritize her anxiety and her mental health over everything else in my life. Even if I was hanging out with my friends, I'm always anxiously looking over my phone like, fuck. So if you happen to be in a relationship like that now or in the future, just know that the sooner you get yourself out of that, the sooner that you're gonna feel true freedom again and actually be able to move things forward. But I hadn't yet realized that the right girl could also be a game changer, because at that point I was kind of in a little bit of a red pill phase, we could call it, where essentially I was just looking at women as like an opportunity for the next hookup. And that can be beneficial in terms of the results you're getting or how many women you're able to go on dates with, because it was easy for me to set strong boundaries. It was easy for me to not play games with girls, because it was like, look, either we're gonna meet up and we're gonna take you back to my place, or it's not happening. I don't give a fuck. And I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate to that mindset as well, that savage mindset. But what I did not realize, and I didn't realize this until I'd been dating Julia for a couple years, my wife now, is that with the right woman, immediately the distractions are removed. Because once you build yourself into the type of guy who has options, when you're single, there's always options. So you always know, hey, if I just, do a few swipes or do a few approaches, I can have a date with the hot girl. Once I committed, there was no more distractions. I was able to purely focus on my mission. It also means a lot less anxiety from worrying about like a girl flaking on a date or anything. But it also means if you find a girl who supports you and who supports your mission, it also is like you have this loving, ever-present, supportive assistant around you all the time who's just cheering for you to win and doing whatever she can do to help you win. And that is an insanely valuable asset, because now I have someone to share the wins with, and that makes them mean even more. And I also have someone that when I take a big L, I lose some money or I get sick or I get injured or just some shit goes wrong, I have someone there for me. And that also makes the bad times a little bit less painful, a little bit easier to push through them. And that's why I'd recommend, if you're single right now, the things to prioritize for your next girlfriend are, first of all, her looks, because if you're not attracted to her, there's never going to be any spark in the relationship. But second of all, if you're dating a girl and you notice that she's doing what she can to help you on your mission, and she seems like a ride or die, that might be wifey. Now, something else that's a complete game changer for your confidence as a man is when you can look in the mirror and feel truly attractive. And a big part of that is having a proper grooming routine, which is why I decided to partner with Manscaped to be the sponsor of today's video. So once per week, I'm going to use the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra to trim my chest hair and my ab hair, because if you're putting in work in the gym, but you just got, a hairy bush all over you, it hides the definition. This exposes the definition so you look as much jacked as possible. And the 5.0 takes grooming precision to a whole new level. It's got the next-gen skin-safe blade, upgraded with wider, longer teeth that cut through hair with ease, super long battery life, and is even waterproof. And then after that, I'm going to crack out the Weed Whacker 2.0. This thing has a 7,000 RPM, 360-degree motor, and essentially what that does is it allows you to quickly trim your nose hairs so you don't have any gross hairs sticking out of your nose with boogers hanging off. Well, easy fix. And because Manscaped is sponsoring today's video, you know that they're hooking it up. If you use the coupon code on screen right now, that's going to get you 20% off plus free international shipping. You can use that on either of these tools or the Performance Package 5.0, which comes with both of these bundled together and some other free gifts for an insane discount. Just click that first link in the description to grab yours now and take your grooming routine to the next level. Number 4, you cannot change other people. So there's something interesting we tend to do when we feel a lack of control in our own lives. Well, we start to look for that control by controlling other people's thoughts or their behaviors or their actions or their goals, because that helps us feel in control. And it also helps us feel influential. It makes us feel important, like we're the leader and we're telling other people what to do. And I'll be honest, this is one thing that I actually did right in my journey. And I think this is actually one of the biggest reasons I was able to make such a transformation in my life, is that I never really had this urge. Like back then, I had my OG friends around me who were not on the path to self-improvement, and I never tried to get them to like,
hey, stop jerking off, man, or you got to go out and approach girls with me, bro.
Maybe I did that one a little bit, but instead of doing that, I just grinded in isolation and set up dates by myself and went to the gym by myself, and I made an effort to make new friends who were on the same path. That's when I met the homie Dave in the Boston crew. But I see it come up frequently on the Beast Nation calls. Guys are like,
I want my friends also to be on the same path to self-improvement.
And part of that can be coming from a good place where you just want to raise up the people around you and you want to positively influence their life. But at the end of the day, man, the fact is that if someone doesn't want to change, you're not going to make them want to change. Until they want to change, nothing matters. And really, at the end of the day, you lose, because now you're diverting your most two precious resources, your time and your energy. You're diverting those from focusing on your own life, and you're diverting it to trying to convince your friends to be like you. Maybe you're arguing with your friends, trying to open their mind to the red pill, or it can happen with girls as well, where you're seeing a girl and you're trying to get her to see the modern feminism is a bit toxic, let's say, and that, maybe she should be a little bit more submissive. But if they're not personally incentivized to change, it's not going to matter what you say. It's just going to create a bigger divide between y'all. What I've realized now is the friends or the family members I have influenced to change, it's only been as a result of them seeing me lead by example. If your friends, all of a sudden you're fucking jacked and you're going on all these dates, that's when they're going to say, hey, bro, how you dating all these fucking hot girls? What's going on, man? How did you buy that new car? What are you doing to make all this money, bro? At that point, now their mind is open, and now you can coach them up a little bit. But if you're trying to coach someone up before that, you're just going to come off like a dick. Number 5, everyone is faking it. Almost everyone is faking it. So when I was 25, been working on self-improvement for a couple years, it's really normal to make these value comparisons between yourself and other men, because now you're focused on your body, you're focused on your money, you're focused on the women that you have or don't have. So if I went to the gym and saw this guy that was jacked, low-key, I'd always feel a little bit intimidated. If I saw a guy walk into a restaurant with a smoking hot girl on his arm, I'd be jealous of him. And the same sort of mental talk happens with attractive women, right? You start to get a bit intimidated, like, man, this girl probably knows she's better than me. It's not going to work out. How's she going to settle for a guy like me, man? But what I've understood from leveling up and from growing older is that 99% of people, well, let's say 100% of people are insecure. There's some part of their life they're not happy with and they want to change, but 99% of people are like intensely insecure. The jacked bodybuilder at the gym, he's looking in the mirror feeling fat because he's not stage lean anymore. He hates his body. The hot girl you're trying to talk to, and over my years now, I've dated many attractive women. They're sitting there picking apart every part of their face and their body in each photo that they take, hating themselves. And I wish I could just go back to 25-year-old David and shake him a little bit, grab his shoulders and shake him and say, bro, stop putting so much pressure on yourself. All these other people that you're feeling intimidated by, they're just as insecure, if not more insecure than you. The difference is that a small amount of people are still able to push things forward in their life and keep taking action, even while they're feeling intimidated and insecure and confused. They're still able to grind out the progress, while most people, at least 90% of people, they succumb. They're overwhelmed by all these thoughts, and that's why they take 2 steps backward or 2 steps forward and 3 steps backward, and they never fucking get anywhere. So realize, even if your content's getting no views now, you're not getting any success with the attractive women that you want. Don't use it as a reason to give up. Most people do. Number 6, you are capable of far more than you could ever imagine. So if 25-year-old David was sat here right beside me, this would be the first thing that I would tell him. I'd say, man, you don't know what your future holds for you. Like, you are going to achieve 100 times more than you could ever imagine. Back then, I didn't have these grandiose dreams, right? I didn't want to make millions per year. I was just trying to not work for someone else. I was trying to do my own thing, make like 100K per year and chill. And I would have told him, bro, you don't fucking know what your future holds. And there's nothing special about David. There's nothing special about me. All of y'all, it's the same thing. You are nowhere near aware of what you could actually accomplish in your life. Like, it is realistic to achieve crazy success with your money and your finances, with your body, with the relationships you have with women and with other men. And it's not that I would tell him that he needs to dream bigger and have bigger goals, because I think the beauty of 25-year-old David is that he didn't have bigger goals. He was relentlessly focused just on getting to a step that was 10% ahead of where he was at the time. And that's what allowed him to get 10, 20, 30, 40, until we got to 100x where we were then. And that's really my message here for you. Keep your head down, stay focused on that next step. It doesn't matter if you slip up on a bad habit or you feel insecure and weak compared to other men. Just keep moving forward anyway. Focus on those small wins. Let that be the fuel that keeps you going. And you're not going to recognize yourself in 6 months, in 2 years, in 5 years. It's going to be fucking crazy what you achieved, bro. Now, real quick, if you have been struggling to see results with the top tier women, then you need to watch this video next. It's about how to hold a masculine frame with women. That is the key to getting to that top tier. Click there to watch that now. If you're new to the channel, click down there to subscribe, as I release 2 new videos every single week, and you don't want to miss them. I'll talk to you in the next video. Stay beastly.